Oracle's on the rise, jaws are dropping. OpenAI is promising a staggering $300 billion over 5 years. But hold on, Enrique Abeta warns. The cash might not be there. Stay tuned to see what cracks first. The funding, the forecasts, or the hype.
Gary, moving forward, next we're talking OpenAI. When I read this, I need all the background here because I know Enrique. I've spoke to Enrique. Enrique has done amazing work. Talent Energy is a big one. He's hit a home run on among a lot of others. I'll let you take the juice of the sub headline here, but Gary, thing number 4, I've lost track. 4, Enrique Abeta's OpenAI comparison. I love this. I'll let you get into it.
All right. So we did get permission to print this and talk about it from Enrique. Enrique is at HX Research, and that was where his writing on this first appeared. By the way, you're right. He was the person who originally presented Talent Energy to DKI subscribers. We've got that webinar up on our YouTube channel. It was from a little over a year ago, if you want to go see it, where he talks about it for a year. We invested in that company, and that stock is, I think, up more than 3x from our original purchase price. So, thanks to Enrique on that. Anyway, going to what he was writing last week on OpenAI, he was pointing out that OpenAI committed to spending $300 billion over the next 5 years on Oracle's computing infrastructure. That deal, which centers around OpenAI's Project Stargate, sent Oracle stock up something like 40% in a day. That is a gigantic move for a company of that 40%. Size. Yeah, Oracle added $250 billion in market cap that day. That's the equivalent of Morgan Stanley's entire market cap. In addition to all of that, it briefly made Larry Ellison the richest man in the world. He made more than $100 billion in that one day. I will also point out, because it's important, that Larry Ellison, I believe, was the one who funded the NIL payments to Underwood, who is the top quarterback recruit in the country last year, who's now Michigan's starting quarterback. So that seemed important.
Okay. Okay. I see where this is going now. So really, this is a University of Michigan football deal, is what it is.
I'm never gonna miss an opportunity to point that out. So we want to thank Larry Ellison for that.
Larry's a great guy. I love his island.
Yeah. There you go. All right. So let's cut to Enrique's point, because I think it's really interesting. Enrique is pointing out that OpenAI is still not profitable and is projected to burn through more than $115 billion in cash by 2029. This is over the next 4 years, burning almost $25 billion per year. That number, while jaw-dropping, this is Enrique's text here, is starting to look small next to the commitments it's making now. According to multiple reports, OpenAI has committed $19 billion to Oracle just for Project Stargate. And then, of course, you have the $300 billion that committed Oracle. So here's the question. If OpenAI is not profitable, is going to be burning through $25 billion a year, and just committed to paying Oracle $300 billion over the next 5 years, where's OpenAI going to get the money from, right? OpenAI, back to Enrique's text here, is acting like a company with near limitless financial firepower, but it's unclear where that firepower is actually coming from. I think that's a really interesting point, right? That basically they're making these commitments, and Oracle stock is up to, it's in the $1 trillion club based on these commitments, but how is OpenAI going to pay for it?
Yeah, I mean, that is the question, Gary. Like, where is the money coming from? And then, we talk about a comparison, and without letting the cat out of the bag, if you were listening earlier, you already got that tidbit, right? With the written version. But what does this mean? Where is the money coming from? What is this looking like?
Well, so OpenAI depends on venture capital, partnerships, right? Raising money that way, potentially government grants to keep the lights on. But it now needs to raise hundreds of billions of dollars. That's a really big raise. And what if it finds itself unable to meet all these promises? If that happens, that pressures companies like Oracle, and Oracle's built their own projections around these contracts and funding the Michigan football team and recruiting there. I mean, it's important that Oracle is okay. Larry, we are cheering for you. But Enrique, and here's where it gets really interesting. And this is the comparison I think is brilliant by Enrique. He compared OpenAI's behavior to Enron's and points out that Enron used big contracts and fake projections to hide that it was losing money and racking up debt. Just before Oracle collapsed in 2021, they were pushing massive sounding but misleading deals like a 20-year video on demand partnership with Blockbuster that never took off. Right.
Gary,
Or
real quick. Gary, real quick.
yeah.
Enron collapsed in 2001. Sorry, yeah, you had that backwards a little bit just with the years, but yes, and
All right.
Blockbuster. Yes, correct.
Yeah, so basically 15 minutes before Enron collapsed, they announced this 20-year partnership with Blockbuster, right? They announced this global trading platform that artificially inflated volumes in the gas market. So Enrique is saying, hey, what if we're seeing the same playbook today, only this time dressed up in AI? And now take a minute and think about what happens if AI growth starts to crater. That's what's holding up the stock market right now,
Mm.
right? That's what's making the stock market go up. And any reversal on these valuations for the big companies, that would be enormous and a gigantic problem.
Hmm. Interesting. We'll have to have Enrique back on. Gary would be fun just as a special segment. Keep track on that. Yeah, I mean, OpenAI is obviously incredible, and they're rolling out. I think they're ChatGPT 5.0 now. They just recently released. I just know the amount of workflows, API calls, keys, right, that we as an organization are pulling. But to your point, we're not. They're not. I would be shell shocked if they're actually making any money off of us, right? Because I see what we pay them, and I think it's 20 something bucks a month, So you've either
Yeah.
got this problem where you have this high powered tool, which I think they do to an extent, but there's an issue with understanding how to monetize it. It might be sales related, right? Team, that infrastructure, which a lot of times, no matter how good your product might be, if you're not getting it into the right hands or into the right hands that are actually properly valuing it and paying you for it, then what good is it?
Yeah. By the way, Rob, what we're talking about is I paid $20 a month for ChatGPT's premium product as well. I would just be happy if it stopped offering to do things that it can't do. Right. The other day I'm using it and I'm trying to like figure out some travel plans, and it says, would you like me to contact this company and see if they have a reservation available? I'm like, okay, yeah, that'd be great. Please do that. And it's like, okay, but I can't do that. I'm like, what? Then why are you offering? It's like, well, if you want, I can write the email and you
Yeah,
can figure out where to send it, or I can
yeah,
write a
yeah.
script and you can call them.
Yeah, it's
I have
very
something.
yeah. It's very it's conceptual, right? And then it's like, okay, yeah, let's go and do these grand illusion type things, but when it comes to the actual structural components of getting them done, it fails more often than not. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and in fact, over the weekend, I had something where it was saying, "Hey, I need to get my computer repaired. Here are 3 locations. Do you want me to put them on a
Yeah,
map so you can see where they
I
are?"
I do
And I
see
couldn't
it
do it.
quite as a house of cards, maybe not like in the at the top level. Like I'll be so curious. Yeah, it's when I saw that comparison that Enrique made. Where I see it though is really what's happening is you have all this infrastructure and valuations that are being built on these companies that all they are is wrapping Chat GPT up, right? And they're calling it this, that, and the other. And you've seen this so many times with even other software and infrastructure and some of the biggest names in the world, right? They started as a wrapper of an existing either like CRM's a big term in our space, relationship management. And then you really get into the weeds of this product, and it's like this is just the same thing with a different wrapper targeting this vertical and niche. And now all of a sudden you've got an entire industry relying on what is really a crap product tied to a product that can't make any money and might fold, right? So yeah, creates
Yeah.
a very interesting scenario, and especially with AI, and now you're seeing like, oh, create a website in 5 seconds. Well, you know how many AI tools are out there that can do that right now, right? There's like a million. Why do we need a million? And they're all getting same or similar valuations, right? It's just it's pretty funny. So, and we're sitting here looking like, they're really crap too at the end of the day, right? Like a lot of the output of this stuff, like, yeah, it gets you far enough to move from point A to point B, but that's about it. It can't go from point B to point C.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Going back to the original on this, want to thank Enrique for the really interesting observation here. I think his point that OpenAI's behavior, that it reminds him of Enron, I think it's really interesting, and that it could create all kinds of stock market problems, not just for Oracle. I think it's really insightful. So, always good to get his point of view on that. And
Yeah,
congratulations as well for the great Talent Energy pick. That's just been a huge winner for
no
us,
doubt, no
and
doubt.
because of his research. So
Yeah.
thanks.